Welcome to Hitting a Baseball. The purpose of this video is to teach the mechanics of a good baseball swing. For the purpose of this video, we will concede that there are many hitting stances available to a hitter and that generally this is a non-teach or not a concern. Where it would be a concern is probably in the case of hitters who are under 12 or 11 years of age, where the stance that they choose could greatly impact their success. We will begin by focusing on the first critical movement of a good swing, the load. The purpose of the load is to gather the hitter's weight before moving forward into the stride. The most important thing to consider about the load is that the hitter's weight should go up against the rear leg but not over it. If you look at the pictures of major league players in their loads, you'll notice that their knee is inside or forward of their rear ankle. Their weight never really rests directly over their back ankle. This is critical since this will shift your center of gravity and throw off some of the other later timing mechanisms. So once again, to establish a good load, you need to gather your weight against the rear leg but not over your rear leg. The next part of a good swing is the stride. Put simply, this is a forward movement towards the pitcher out of your load. There are 4 different parts that we look for in a good stride. The first part is that the forward movement must be initiated by the rear knee. The second part is to have the hitter land his lead foot at approximately 45 degrees of angle with the weight on the ball of the front foot. The next part is that the hitter should land with his weight evenly distributed, 50% forward, 50% back. Part 4 of a good stride is that the hitter's lead arm wrist should be inside of the lead arm elbow. Likewise, the hitter's rear arm wrist should be even with the rear arm elbow. Lastly, we are looking for the hitter's bat angle to be at 1 or 2 o'clock if they are right-handed and 10 or 11 o'clock if they are left-handed. The next part of the swing is the actual start of the swing. This phase begins with the hitter's lead foot heel moving down towards the ground, while at the same time the rear elbow dropping down to his side. It is the dropping of the rear elbow that will link up with the rear hip to begin the rotational phase of hitting. This is a critical part of the swing, since this will allow the hitter time to continue to gather information about the pitch that's coming into his hitting zone. The amount of rotation that will occur before the hitter activates his hands is dependent upon the location of the pitch. It is very critical that the hitter establish a very good start to his swing with rotation and not the forward movement of the hands, since any off-speed pitch would create a problem for this type of hitter. The next part of the swing is contact. This is the point at which the bat meets the ball. At this point of the swing, we are looking for the hitter's palms to be palm up and palm down. We're also looking for there to be a slight flexion in both of the hitter's elbows, and we would ideally like to see the hitter's rear elbow at a 90 to 120 degrees of flexion. The next phase after contact is extension. This simply means that the hitter is going to follow or chase the ball through the zone after he hits it. The point here is to hit through the ball and not to the ball. It is after extension that the hitter should begin rolling their top hand. If you look at some of the pictures, you'll notice that the end of the barrel at this point is pointing at the pitcher and this is the time at which the right hand, if you're a right-handed hitter, would begin the rolling over process. The last phase of the swing is the follow-through or the finish. This is a continuation of the extension phase, and this phase the hitter will continue to finish, and his finish will be dependent upon the point of contact. The lower the point of contact, the higher the finish. The higher the point of contact, the flatter the finish. While we have just spent a few minutes discussing the mechanics of the baseball swing, this is only one component of being a good hitter. The reality is that we've all seen very nice swings that never saw or met the ball. So in addition to having good mechanics, it is critical for anyone wishing to become a very good hitter that they have good hand-eye coordination, good rhythm and timing, as well as possessing a very good plan or approach at the plate about what they want to hit and when they want to hit it. I hope this has been useful to you in your quest to become a better hitter.